It is no secret that America is obsessed with true crime. It's a phenomenon that continues to captivate audiences everywhere. Joining us now to chat about his podcast, True Crime Obsessed, is Patrick Hinds. Hi, Patrick.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you. I'm a huge true crime fan myself.
Oh, good.
This is so much fun, and it seems like so many people across our country are into this. In the past few years, I feel like it has really taken off.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, I think when the streamers happened, there was a lot of content to fill, and true crime documentaries typically are pretty cheap to make. And because it really is a really compelling storytelling, you know, right? Like these stories have a strong beginning, middle, and an end, or a big cliffhanger, and people are really drawn to those kinds of stories. So I think it's a combination of them being inexpensive to make and being really compelling storytelling.
Do you feel like the fact that they are true and they really happen is like makes it even more interesting, maybe?
For sure, and I think that we are, as human beings, just fascinated to know about the terrible things that can happen to us, right? I think we can't look away from it. So I think we are drawn to wanting to know more, and I think that's why people are so obsessed.
Okay, yes, they're so obsessed. You made a good point there. It was like when streaming started, because during COVID is when I started listening to true crime, because there's like they weren't making new TV shows very often, so that makes sense.
Yeah, it really filled a gap, especially with podcasts. That's when we started making a whole bunch of podcasts during COVID, because people needed something to do, and you know, and people were stuck at home and stuck on their couches, and you know, Dateline has 9,000 seasons, and you can just go back and watch it all over and over and over again. So it's a void filler. Okay,
very true. Now let's talk about the genre itself of true crime. Were there any OG? You mentioned Dateline, like any OG shows or podcasts?
I'm such a nerd. I grew up on Unsolved Mysteries, like the old Robert Stack Unsolved Mysteries, where they would cover like the Loch Ness Monster and like UFOs and Bigfoot kidnappings, and that's kind of where I started. Of course, you know, Serial was the original, not the original true crime podcast, but the original really popular ones. There were podcasts like Generation Y that I grew up listening to that were like heroes of mine, and other true crime podcasts like Wine and Crime that were doing what we're doing, and so there's so many that go back a long time.
Wow, very cool. Now, why do you think true crime sells maybe better than other genres of podcasts that are out there?
Well, once again, there's a real community out there in the true crime podcasting space. I make another podcast that has nothing to do with true crime. It's a Golden Girls podcast. And there just isn't, we have a great listenership, but there's a real community of people in the true crime space. And one of the things we're seeing that's so exciting is this turn towards ethical true crime podcasting and documentaries. So we're starting to see like really top tier directors getting involved in making these documentaries, or the families of the victims are getting involved, and it's keeping the content really victim focused and centered on the messaging of like doing it true crime with a purpose. And I think that's elevating the genre, and I think even drawing more people to it.
Yeah, that's a great point I didn't even think of before, is how messy it could get, because these are real victims who are in it. And
a lot of times, you know, these stories were being told without the consent of the families, and we've got creators like Julie Murray and Sarah Turney, who both had sisters that went missing, and they were really big cases, and they were two creators that really put the time and effort into making people understand the ethics behind true crime storytelling and doing true crime storytelling with a purpose. And we're really seeing a shift in that direction, and it's exciting.
Yes, okay, there are so many true crime podcasts and documentaries now, like on Netflix, other streaming services. Do you have any favorites that you are obsessed with?
Yeah, right now I'm really obsessed with the American Murder series on Netflix. So they did a Lacey Peterson doc, which was directed by Skye Borgman, who's a friend of ours, and then they also did the Gabby Petito doc that came out recently. Two examples of really family-focused, victim-centered true crime storytelling. The families of both Gabby Petito and Lacey Peterson were really involved in both. It was very much about Gabby, very much about Lacey, and really telling their stories, giving a lot of new information. They're just as interesting and fascinating as documentaries that were made before this sort of change happened. But the American Murder series on Netflix is doing really good work.
Okay, yes. I haven't seen the Gabby Petito one yet, but I know people are really into it.
It's great, and there's a lot of new information. There's stuff that we didn't really know before, and that was one of those cases that was like reported in true crime, reported in real time all across social media, and now with this documentary, with her family being involved, we really are getting new information. It's really worth watching. Okay, definitely. I have to check that one out. Is there any case in particular that you are personally really invested in or really into? Yeah, I always go back to there's a woman named Dr. Sneha Ann Phillip who went missing in New York City on September 10th, 2001. And it was a big question of like, she was a doctor and she didn't come home the night before September 11th.
Right.
And like, was she a victim of the September 11th attacks, or did she run away to start a new life on her own, or did something happen to her on the 10th? But there's been no trace of her. And that's one of those cases I've got 100 Google alerts set for.
Wow.
There was an amazing podcast called Missing on 9/11, reported by a man named John Walzak, and did a lot of really good work. But in the end, at the end of the podcast, he was still kind of like, yeah, we really don't know what happened to her. There's no good evidence in any one real way, but it's a really fascinating case that I'm really obsessed with.
It sounds so interesting, and I'm sure because it's so close to 9/11, it kind of got lost in the shuffle of hecticness.
And that's part of the mystery of the case, was that, you know, nobody was really looking for her. Initially, her family lied and said they knew that she was in the towers. She wasn't.
Interesting.
And so that muddied the waters. You know, they were kind of doing anything they could to get people to look for her. But there's no evidence that she went into the towers. There's no evidence that she was murdered on September 10th. There's this one really compelling thing that happened where there was a book called Post Secret, where you could write a postcard and it would be published anonymously. And somebody wrote a postcard that said, everybody who knew me before 9/11 thinks I'm dead.
Okay.
And it was like this mystery of like, was that written by her?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, so it's a very intriguing case that I'm hoping someday we'll get some answer to.
Okay, yes, gotta keep us updated on that one.
For
yes,
sure.
I want to know. That's
and
so
also,
interesting.
The Zodiac from your neck of the woods is the other one that I'm completely fascinated by.
Crazy. Yeah, there's so many of them are so fascinating, and I think one of the things is people want to understand what went on in their brain. Like, why did you go crazy and do these crazy things?
And some people, like the Golden State Killer, for example, stopped killing at some point. He killed all of those people, stopped killing, and wasn't found until genetic genealogy happened all those decades later. So it's like, what made him start to kill? And what made him stop killing? And how was he able to fight whatever dark impulses he had for all those years?
Crazy.
It really, the mind of these attackers and killers are, you know, we'll never really understand.
Right. Yeah, we won't. Thankfully, we will not ever understand. Yeah. Okay, real quick, we have one last question. What is your show tonight? Tell us a little bit about it.
It's a departure. This is a show I'm doing at the Bats Improv Theater. It's my one-man show where I tell a story about a night I spent with Golden Girls icon B. Arthur when she came to my college. I was obsessed with her. She hated me on sight. She got drunk and made fun of me the whole night.
Oh,
we had this wonderful drag B. Arthur impersonator playing B. Arthur from Beyond the Grave. So it's about an hour, and then we all kind of just go to the bar and make new friends. It really is about bringing together my podcast community listeners to meet each other and just have a fun night, get out of the house, you know?
Awesome. Patrick, well, have a great time tonight.
Thank
you so much for coming. It was great to meet you. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.